Many people go through a lot of things in life. It sort of changes their personality, it sort of changes how they look at things, it sort of changes their spiritual souls. It often is something that happens to them on purpose, or it's something that happens to them by accident. We can all remember the Kim Kardashian thing where she had this huge, monstrous diamond ring on her hand, and she literally had someone unlawfully enter her home abroad, excuse me, and literally try and take it from her. And she was so fearful for her life that she realized her life was out of control in terms of her materialism. That was a lesson clearly from God, and she talks about God a lot, and she's actually pretty godly. She's very loving towards her not biological father, but he is no longer a man. And for a lot of people, that's outrageous, but for her, he's still someone important to her. And she literally and her husband were literally some people who allowed that situation to go on, and she probably has lots of feeling about it, but she knew not to publicly shame him, her, sorry. Whatever it is, I'm trying to be as respectful as possible to all the people listening and how they feel about that situation. I know how I feel. I think it's great that the individual soul is being recognized. That's all I'll say about that matter. Now, openly, we're talking here a little bit about rights. We're talking literally about how many people feel the right to other people's lives. How many people feel the right that they have to literally tell someone what to do, how to feel, what to think, what to suggest, and all this. I have this constantly from my siblings, and I'm outraged. I literally hate them, actually, most of them, because of their individual betrayal of my rights in this world. I literally have said to my mother, I don't want to see these children again, ever in my life, yet they will still show up when I am literally visiting my mom. If this is some worker at this particular place where my mom lives telling them I'm here, I will literally sue the pants off this company. I have the literal right to privately come and visit my mom, have time with her alone, and have mother and son time, all that I want to. If she'll have me. If she won't, she'll tell me to go away. I'm like, okay, see you later. People have the right to say that. My mom is literally a saint in many ways and a sinner in others, just like I am and just like you are. But openly, we have to talk about rights. I'm talking a lot about rights because rights are completely on my mind. And I'm literally being guided in everything I say would not necessarily sound right to you, but it is absolutely truth. When I make a decision, when I make a purchase, I decide whether or not it's right for me at this exact moment in time. I literally pray about it, I meditate about it, I use my tool for it, and if it says no, I literally don't buy. And if it says yes, I buy. I can get to anything in a store if God wants me to. And I can get anywhere in the country if literally God wants me to. I don't need GPS in the way that you think of GPS in terms of technology. I have the God positioning system. I promise you, it's true. Come ride with me someday. Tell in your mind God where you want to go, and we'll go. But literally, I'm being led a lot of different places. I don't always know exactly where that is, but it's quite an adventure. I've been shown some amazing things. Absolutely amazing things in the midst of the chaos of my life right now. I mean, think about it. How would you handle being homeless? Would you literally know where to go, what to do, how to get food, and all those things? How to shower, how to bathe, how to keep clean, how to brush your teeth, how to literally make sure you're not being hit on while you're homeless. Being homeless without a vehicle is incredibly difficult. People literally shit on the homeless. I have almost proven that this week. Someone killed my vehicle. They messed with a vehicle that had just been spent $5,000 to put back to like new status. Now, there's only three options for how that could happen. One, the mechanic who did the work lied about his skill sets and failed to do it correctly. Two, people in my life decided they would remove my right to have freedom of movement, which is a fundamental human right under the NATO Charter, and decided to kill my car. Or three, some other person thought they'd steal parts off my vehicle because they were brand spanking new. Either way, all three things are a violation of my fundamental rights to my property. They have stolen money, and it has stolen gas. I've spent hundreds of dollars in gas over what I should, I think. But maybe it's just an old car, not exactly. It was literally rebuilt, the engine put in, and every other part was supposed to be brand new or fully functioning. I'm not a mechanic, so I'm not getting underneath the hood and monkeying around. But the man who did the work literally will not call me back. I've called him several times, and each time he's told me something different, like, well, that's no longer under warranty, so that's not going to work. And I'm like, no, you need to warn your frigging service. You're the one who put it all together. You're the one who purchased the parts. You're literally the one who touched under the hood, not me. So I'm stuck. My car is in impound because a police officer violated my rights. My car has been having a little bit of trouble because of this situation, and I literally stopped at Fall Creek and Keystone, of all places to have your car run out of gas or have a problem. Now, I'm pretty sure it wasn't automatically an issue of natural doing. I pretty much have an analytical mind, and I can tell the difference when my car runs out of gas naturally and when something else is happening to it that makes it an unnatural situation. That's all I'm going to say about this right now. But police literally drove by. Hundreds of people drove by me standing on the side of the road looking for somebody to help me. Not one person with mechanical skills thought, I'll stop my day and come over and make sure this guy's okay or safe, or if he needs help, or should I call someone? Now, I've run out of gas before and I've been prepared. I've always had an extra tank, and I literally had pumped that gas into that extra gallon on my vehicle. I had set it in the car the morning of my driving. When I literally went into a store, apparently someone got in and took that gas, because when I went to put that gallon in, it was completely not there. And I'd only visited a Dollar General to get some food for the morning. So that's, I guess, what we've got. And I lock my car every literal time. Finally, 2 police officers came by. The first one literally came over and said, what can I do to help you in a way? And I literally said, well, I need some gas. And his response was flippant. I don't have any gas. If I was his boss, I would have fired him on the spot. My understanding of police officers, according to my father, is literally that they serve at the rights of the community. I don't believe they're elected like sheriff, but they openly are serving the community. His answer should have been, do you have a gas can? Do you have any cash? Could you literally give me those items and I will go and get you some up the road in 5 minutes' time, and we'll get you out of the intersection? He did not do that. I can't say whether or not I've got his plate or not. I might. The second guy who finally came along came in 2 pair. There were 2 police officers in that vehicle. They came out. They interrogated me. They asked me all sorts of questions. And they, too, did not produce the offer, even though I asked them point blank, would you mind going to get me some gas? He literally said, no, I'm not going to get you some gas, but you can walk to get it, and you can just leave your car here, and we'll come back in a little while and see how it's going. So here's an old guy, full beard, having to carry a few items to make sure they don't get stolen out of a car at a relatively, not necessarily great part of town, walking up the road in the dead heat. There's no way in hell I'm getting in the back of a police car, and I'll tell you, don't ever do it. Ever get into the back of a policeman's car. Ever. On a, we can give you a ride sort of thing. Never do it. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I literally had to walk up 6-10 blocks or whatever, maybe more, to get that gas. Took a long time. It was a hot day. I hoofed it back. I had a little help, thankfully, from a gracious company, which I'll talk about in another cast. And literally, the minute I got the gas in the car, I sat down in the car to try and start the car, and the policeman was at my door again, demanding that I get it taken care of in 10 minutes. Well, we had already determined there was a little bit of trouble with the ignition starter, so that would take about 10 minutes to probably work itself out. So literally, I was crapped on the entire time. The man was talking at me every second, trying to demand and tell me and direct me what I'm to do. And I'm like, you know, buddy, you're like 20 years old. I'm almost 50. I don't need you to tell me what the hell to do in my own vehicle. But I can't say that to a police officer. Why? Because they've got handcuffs, they got attitudes, and they've got guns. Now, you hear my tone change. I literally have no trust for the force. That's my right to have. I don't have to say why. If you're a close friend of mine, you literally know why. If you've been observing, like some people have, of what's been going on for me, you absolutely know why. But again, I'm at risk if I say why. Why? Because they don't like people to tell the truth. But I'm not going to go there too much further. The monsters in the world often carry badges, and we have to be aware of that. We all know the stories of women who literally thought it was a police officer pulling them over, and it turned out to be some rent-a-cop or someone who just purchased a uniform and got a car made like a police officer and literally harmed that girl. So we have to be aware that some of our procedures don't work exactly. Some of our hiring processes are poor, and literally we've failed to give them the rules of their job, I guess. If their only job is to pull out bad guys, then go do that and leave the rest of us alone. Don't bother to come by. Don't direct traffic so I don't get hit and other people don't cause more accidents. They literally just stood there at the side of the road. They didn't try and direct traffic. They didn't try to do anything. They just put their car there to block. Blocking the vehicle isn't going to help someone who doesn't see us all. All it would do is smash us all up. Literally smash them between my car and their car. Not really wise. People are more likely to see a person in uniform directing traffic, I think. That's just my opinion. So you see, I can have had help with go ahead and go do it, but then he demanded basically that I had to remove my car from that intersection because I'd supposedly been there for 2 hours. I don't know how he knew that because he didn't come along for a long time. And literally do it all in 10 minutes time or he was going to impound my car. Now, what right did that take away? That literally took away my right to decide where I wanted my car taken if I literally couldn't get it started and it needed repair. It literally caused me financial debt of now almost $300 because I literally had to walk myself from that intersection as far as I could carry myself to a place that my elderly mom could come and pick me up without too much problem all by her lonesome. I literally slept in a place sitting on my cooler overnight in the public air because I couldn't reach anyone on the phone because someone had stolen my phones. And literally, the people I sort of asked and tried to get help from all ignored me completely and drove by. Maybe it's because of how I look. I look a little bit like a mountain man these days. But it's my right to choose that look right now. It's not going to be my look forever, but if I choose to keep it that way, I will. I guess my point is, where do people draw the line at what is their right? All that man had to do was offer to run up and get me some gas. We could have put it in and got it going. I'm pretty well sure that those folks are trained in mechanical skills, and they could have looked the engine over to see what was really wrong. And maybe that's what we need to produce in our police forces. We need to produce police officers who have technological skills to help in mechanical difficulties because they've got the badge, they've got the ability to stop traffic, they got the ability to block cars with their car, and they really have the ability, and the social skills not necessarily, but they have the ability to maybe help someone get back on the road and get going to keep everybody safe in life. So this has been Blake Ensign of Blake Communications. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired today. But openly, I'm challenging you. What do you feel that our police force should really be doing for us today? Do you feel like they're constantly pulling us over for speeding and other things is the right thing to do? Or do you literally feel like that it's entrapment? Or do you feel like they're not putting their efforts and energies in the right places? I don't know. I don't really think about them all that much, honestly, unless I'm doing something wrong, and I literally don't go over the speed limit. I'm old, I guess. I don't really feel like paying for a ticket, and I'm certainly pissed as hell that a police officer took away my right to even offer me a cell phone to try to call someone again, to get someone to make some phone calls to get a tow truck that would literally only cost $50 to $70 to tow my car to a local garage. You see, all that actually takes a lot of time. It takes almost a half a day. But I could have used those 2 hours of being stranded to do all of that if I had been given a little bit of help in that regard. But instead, I was told to do a lot of different things that were really not solving the full problem. They caused me financial expense that I don't appreciate. They're causing me a time expense, and they're causing me relational expenses because I have to rely on other people now to help get me down to where they put the car, in their pound where they make the money. So, this is just a story of my life. I will continue to tell stories of my life because storytelling is something that we do as a people. And it gets us to pay attention to how other people play out their ideas in our lives. If you've got a story like mine, put it down below. I want to read it. I want to hear it. Record it. Put it underneath this one. I would love to hear how about your interactions with police and whether you feel like we're being served or if you had a great one. For example, my son had some challenges. We met a great officer named Mike. Every time we had a child problem, we called him because he literally knew how to talk to my teenager. And it was literally great. When he left the force, I was devastated. Absolutely devastated because I thought, what a great community servant. What a great blessing for the other officers who were underneath him to literally have as a mentor. And you can see I get a little choked up about it. And I'm sad he left the force. He might not have been making enough money for his family, and that's a sad thing, literally. So you see, there is a balance in the force, if you will, and we could use it from that Star Wars film. The dark side, the light side. But what do we really expect them to do for us? Protect us, sure, from bad guys, absolutely. But most people, when they have a challenge, are not looking to be manhandled, pushed upon, and create more financial, literal, legal problems from that experience of a crisis or an emergency. So that's it for me. This is Blake Ensign of Blaze Communications LLC. I will talk with you a little later.